Mitchell, and I'm a photographer and artist from Mevagissey in Cornwall.
Sally, tell me how you came to make these artworks.
It started last summer in July 2022. I wasn't very well. I was at home for probably about 10... I had COVID, so I was indoors for 10 days cooped up, and I went down an internet rabbit hole. So I ended up somehow on Tripadvisor looking at the one-star reviews of my hometown. And if I'm honest, at first I was a little bit upset by what people were saying because it didn't match up at all with what I experienced as living there as my home. But then I just started to find them quite amusing because they were so ridiculous, and mostly the criticisms were about things that can't be changed, like the roads are narrow or it smells or, things like that. And it was just completely absurd, really. I already had a load of drawings that I'd done quite a while ago in sort of that GWR old poster style that I had printed up as illustrations, and I'd sold like a handful of them, and they were just like a side project, really. I had them sitting on my hard drive and I'd lost enthusiasm for them. Anyway, I decided I would match up some of these terrible words with some of the drawings I already had, and they just made me laugh, I'm afraid. They just made me giggle, and quite innocently I shoved them on Twitter, and it was like a wildfire after that. So they caught on, and I think because it was height of summer when I posted them online, it seemed appropriate for that time because Cornwall's always busy in the summer and people are frustrated. People that are living here are frustrated by how busy it gets and you can't get anywhere and all the usual grumbles. That's how it came about, really.
Sally, what kind of reactions have you received so far since you've created these artworks?
I've received a lot. I've overwhelmingly positive. There's always a handful of people that don't get it, and that's fine because it's not for everybody. But yeah, I've had some amazing comments from people that just how much it's made them laugh, really. Just very simply, it's brought a smile during the busiest time of the year. I had just a few negative comments. The one that sticks out to me is why are you trying to ruin Cornwall? And I don't really know where to go with that, really. It's just, I'm not trying to ruin Cornwall by any stretch. But yeah, it's just how some people perceive it. And I think maybe it's shattering their view of Cornwall a little bit. Maybe it's people who've got this idealised vision of Cornwall from Instagram, from TV. It's been massively overexposed even over the last sort of, 10 years or so. It's just been popping up everywhere, isn't it? And the reality is often very different. So I think on that note, I would say if you're visiting anywhere very popular, just manage your expectations a little bit and have a sense of humour, and just try and remember that people live and work in these places and they change. They're living. Cornwall's a living, breathing place of industry and people living here and trying to get on in a daily life. And I think people do forget that and expect some kind of theme park sometimes. It's about a year since this all took off, and it's quite timely that the museum is putting this exhibition on now, sort of a year on from when it all went a bit nuts and in the summer holidays. Why did the museum decide to put this exhibition on?
Well, as soon as I saw the artworks that you had posted online last summer, I felt it resonated so strongly with so many people. And I thought, finally, there's something about Cornish tourism that is exciting locals and local communities, but also more seriously bringing up the more important systemic issue of over-tourism in Cornwall. And as we're a museum of Cornish life, which means that we're interested in documenting the social and cultural experiences of people in Cornwall, it makes sense for us as a museum to engage with the issue of over-tourism, the effects it has, and to be able to use humour and art to do that is particularly special. So as a curator, I felt this would make a fantastic exhibition. And I really enjoy how we've installed all of your pieces throughout our permanent displays, so people just happen upon them. And sometimes they pop up as a surprise. And similarly to the responses you've had online, the museum has also experienced a similar balance of reaction, so overwhelmingly positive. I mean, all of your prints have sold out in our shop within a fortnight, which is incredible. But there have been a couple of perhaps slightly confused visitors who have questioned, why do we want to say these horrible things about Cornwall? But for me, that's also about how historically and now Cornwall is marketed as you call it, a fantasy, perhaps as an empty place for other people to come and populate during their holidays. It is important for the museum to continue to raise issues that are of importance to people in Cornwall now. And that's what I hope we've done with Overrated Cornwall.